Hi everybody, Goldface here, and I just wanted to quickly check in to talk about my first ever AEW Dynamite. Before I hop in, I did just want to kind of introduce myself to the wrestling world. I've been watching wrestling for well over 20 years now, and I've been a fan of WWE all the way back in, I want to say, about 2001, where I first saw my first wrestling match, which included Chris Jericho and Triple H. At the top of my head, I can't remember what show it was, but I do know it was a pay-per-view that my mom ordered for my older brother, who got me into wrestling. At first, I wasn't even thinking about going to AEW Dynamite, but I know they don't come to Detroit much, so I thought, why not? I was originally going to go with someone else, but unfortunately, they had to work. So I thought to myself, what if I brought my nephew? My nephew's experience with wrestling is very little. He went to one live show that my older brother took him to, and it was a WWE show. And I do want to point out, I think it's very funny that my nephew actually wore a Jey Uso Yeet shirt to this event. Anyway, we got there super early, which was a mistake on my part because I was with an 8-year-old kid, aka my nephew, and I had to figure out a way to keep him entertained because there was nothing to do outside of the venue. So he asked me about my wrestling history, how I got into it, who my favorite wrestlers were, and who will we be seeing on the card. Started saying names like Jack Perry, Jon Moxley, Commander. He didn't know any of these people. It was almost time to go into the event, and he was saying, I hope this is worth the wait. The show opened with a little pre-show match, which was Rhino versus Nick Comoroto. Again, my nephew knew neither of these men. The match was very basic, and honestly, I'm surprised Rhino can even walk to the ring at this point. At the end of the match, my nephew was like, this was worth the wait. In my head, I'm thinking, when is the real show gonna start? Two things I want to point out. The crowd was absolutely insane. And second, Justin Roberts is absolutely amazing at his job. Most people might just think of him as a ring announcer, which he is, and he's great at that. But in between commercials, he fires up the crowd, is very relatable, pointing out signs, how much he likes Detroit, events that he's reminiscing on, things like that. He really keeps the crowd engaged. There's not too much on the card that I want to point out, but I do want to say that overall, the venue was beautiful. It was at Masonic Temple Theater, and for those who do not know, that building is over 100 years old. There is something I did forget, and that it's before the show, they actually kind of just let you run around wherever you want. So we were at floor level, and I got to see Tony Khan up close. I got to see Luchasaurus up close, and several others. I believe at the time they were recording something for social media. There is another thing I want to point out. Willow had her AEW Women's Championship celebration. Now, remember that nephew I told you who has never seen AEW in his life and had no idea who anybody on the card was? Well, after this event, there was only two people he could talk about. Willow and Speedball Mike Bailey. I wanted to highlight the Willow portion of this because she didn't even wrestle, and she was able to captivate my 8-year-old nephew, who has admittedly a pretty short attention span. She captured his attention so much so that on the ride home, all he really did talk about was Willow, and he even asked me if we can order the next AEW pay-per-view so he can watch her wrestle. So Willow, if you are out there and you happen to watch this video, I doubt you will, but I do want to say, whatever you are doing, keep doing it because it works. And I also want to shout out Speedball Mike Bailey because I've been online looking for a shirt to give my nephew for Christmas because he has become a really big fan. The show was paced pretty well. So my only complaint, honestly, is that the venue was scorching hot. That's not really something AEW can address. I mean, the building is 100 years old, and I'm sure it's not ventilated in modern times with technology. But yeah, overall, I really did enjoy the show. It was following a pay-per-view, which was really neat because I don't think I've ever been to a live show following a pay-per-view. In closing, I do want to say, if you have the opportunity to go to an AEW show, whether it be Dynamite, Collision, or even a pay-per-view, go. You will not regret it. Anyway, I'll be making tons of wrestling content in the future because I've been really inspired, and honestly, I have just been reinvigorated when it comes to the wrestling fandom, and I really hope that you guys will give me a like, subscribe, or even tell me about your live experience that you've attended in the past in the comments. Thank you for letting me ramble, and I hope you guys have a great one. See you next time.